We saw earlier how you can use the rectangular pattern to create multiple instances of a feature in a rectangular array. The example earlier used linear edges to set the pattern directions, but Inventor also allows you to select curved edges as well. Here, I have a plate with a hole through its center. I also have a separate sketch created with the curve I'd like to use to drive the pattern. I typically recommend creating curves that you plan on using for patterns in separate sketches, and also having the curve intersect the center of the feature you're trying to pattern. You can use any curved edge. It doesn't have to be in a sketch, but this method will help prevent any unexpected results and gives you a bit more control of the pattern. I'll launch the Rectangular Pattern tool and select the hole for the feature to pattern. For direction 1, I'll select this curve. Let me also increase the number of instances so we can see what's going on here a bit more clearly. I have the same placement options for direction 1 as we saw before. I can space the instances equally apart from one another. I can space them equally over a distance. Or I can choose curve length to space them evenly over the entire length of the curve. Again, this is the same as the distance option, but the distance value here is parametrically linked to the length of the curve. This is good design intent. If the curve changes length later on, the value will update automatically. But if you specified a distance, the distance would remain the same. I'll click OK to finish the pattern. There's one last thing I'd like to show you before finishing this lesson. In case you were wondering, you can also pattern your patterns. This is pretty useful. For example, I can launch the Circular Pattern tool. For the features to pattern, I'll select the curve-driven pattern we just created. Now, for the rotation axis, I'll select the center circle. I'll set the instances to 6 and have it span the full 360 degrees. I'll click OK, and you can see the results. You can see how using simple curve-driven patterns in conjunction with additional rectangular, circular, or even other curve-driven patterns can be a pretty powerful way to quickly replicate features wherever you need them in your designs.